Canes fans, just think about this. I know it's been a while, but the news has to still get you a little excited, doesn't it? You thought you had a quarterback, then it was pretty sure that you didn't have a quarterback, but you got what most people think is the quarterback in the transfer portal. Cam Ward coming to Miami, not the NFL. We will discuss here at the Voice of College Football. Miami Talk here with Cam Underwood each and every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And the ACC schedule has been released as well. Cam, how you doing tonight?
Doing well, doing good, doing great. Hey, it's a wonderful day here in South Florida. Appreciate everybody being here back with us. I was like in an event last week, so I don't even know what you guys did, but I'm sure that you had a great time, without me and whatnot. But and I know, hey, there's lively chat as always because there was lots of stuff like, hey, we got a quarterback, and that does change everything. In terms of the outlook for this season. So, yeah, good to be back. Glad to be here to talk, Miami Hurricanes with you guys. Let's get it.
And so this is certainly a great indication of what Miami's all about under Mario Cristobal, the new reset of we're gunning for championships. We're paying a top coach first-rate dollars. We're doing all those things. We're all in. But also the NIL era in college football where when a quarterback or any player is leaning toward the NFL, sees those dollars, knows that he's good enough, knows that his draft grade's going to be strong, well, that's a lost cause at another time. But now in this era of NIL, you got a fighting shot to keep those guys.
Yeah, and I think that we did, not only with Cam Ward, but there's some other ones on the roster who might not have been first round draft picks, might have been 6 or 7 round draft picks, but I mean they would have been picked, and then maybe had to fight their way through to make it to a roster. But I think re-recruiting your roster or retaining on your roster is huge, and with NIL being a part of things, I think that was huge in getting Cam Ward to go to Miami, and I think Miami can see the immediate benefit thereof. And this completely, and remember, guys, I am giving you my read on things in real time. Sometimes, like literally, oh, hey, this happened during the show, boom, off the top of the dome, whatever, and have I thought about some of these things? Maybe if they're in the realm of possibilities, then yeah. But and I really love the fact that we get positive feedback. I hopped on Basketball Conference with my guys, Mike and Joey, and we went over everything, and we recorded it a week, 10 days before Cam Newton. Sorry, geez, I'm going to do that a lot. Cam Ward decided to reverse course and then pick Miami, and I gave an outlook for the season based upon the quarterback room without Cam Ward, but in the world of college football, Cam Ward is what a 2 or 3 win player. So I think that you're able to increase the outlook from there, and I think people understood that this was recorded, even though it only released yesterday. It was recorded, a while ago. So all those things, but being able to recruit your roster and retain guys through NIL and everything else is the new landscape, and Miami really comes out like gangbusters with that. With the player that we had focused on to upgrade that quarterback room.
So this will not be a situation where you didn't think much of a player. Now he signs with Miami and you're crafting it a certain way to say, hey, this is our guy and this is great. No, you were talking up Cam Ward as the best player at his position in the transfer portal. So what do you specifically like?
First of all, it wasn't just me, it was everybody.
Sure.
And you look at that from every blog, every recruiting site, every team site, even from what they were doing, the moves in the portal, right? So they, teams brought him in and then said, okay, Florida State brought Cam Ward in. And then Cam Ward told them in no uncertain terms, it ain't going to be here. Smooth, made moves with DJ Uiagalelei immediately, right? So, like, you see that, Ohio State, they're looking at him and everything. And then, that wasn't necessarily a connection. Will Howard, cool. Like, we're going to move on. I mean, so it was not just me, guys, but it was the clear consensus that he's the best game ready player. There is an argument to be made that other players were higher value at the position because of the potential longevity they could have with the program. Specifically, guys like Malachi Nelson, guys like Dante Moore, who had 5-star pedigree coming out of high school and would come in and then they could have multiple years. So if someone was like, well, they're more valuable because they could be at insert school here and continue for more years past next year, because this is Cam Ward's last year of eligibility. Like, he's, but I mean, hey, Cam McCormick, no relation between the Cams, is back for a 9th year, although he did have 4 legitimate season-ending injuries across his career. So, I mean, yeah, it is a joking kind of thing that he's been in college for a full decade, by the time that he'll have hit his, who knows, 4th or 5th commencement. But yeah, Cam Ward was that dude. Everybody knew that he was that dude, and it's plain and simple. I like his arm talent. I like his success at multiple levels. I know that he started at Incarnate Word, but go look at those numbers his second year there. Man, like, okay, I will take that. He goes to Washington State, makes plays with his arms. He's able to keep plays alive with his legs, which is something that we saw with De'Aaron King when he came over from Houston, right? And how that ability had a positive impact on the operations of a Miami offense that at the time was not as diverse and explosive as the Miami offense at present. Back then, and I said it on these streams, go back and look up the videos, I said that we went and got De'Aaron King when he decided to leave Houston because we required having a quarterback who, when it was a fire block or a lookout block, which is like said HUD, all of a sudden the offensive lineman's looking the back way and he's screaming, look out at the quarterback. He was able to make guys miss in a phone booth and keep things going. Now you have a guy who has that ability, can extend plays with his legs, can be maybe the discount version of a Caleb Williams in terms of explosivity from a broken play situation like Cam Ward. And then you put him behind one of the, 3 best offensive lines in the game. I mean, and that's the other thing. There's been other additions to the offensive line group. And shout out to the guys inside the U. They did a podcast that dropped today talking about, they went through every position and said, is this the roster at present at insert position here? Is this a 10-win position? And by the addition of Cam Ward, the answer at quarterback is yes. And not only that, again, I said that Reese Poffenbarger raised the floor, which I agree. Then you have Jakari Brown, you have Emory Williams coming back, to return after breaking his arm, and Judd Anderson. You got a 4-way battle for the backup quarterback, and that's really where I stand on what I said. I don't say things just because I like the sound of my voice. I mean, I do like the sound of my voice, but I don't just say it to say it. I honestly stand on business. Reese Poffenbarger raised the floor. You bring in Cam Ward, and the ceiling is the roof. And he's shown the ability to make big plays. He's shown the ability to beat quality teams. Now, it wasn't always, and it wasn't perfect, and he was at Washington State. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Him and Josh Kelly, the wide receiver out there, they had a really great connection, and they, if you go back and look at the highlights, it got away from him, but that game against Oregon was competitive. You look at these other games up and down the schedule, he has an ability at quarterback that we haven't seen in a while. And again, everybody and their mama wanted him, and his debate wasn't even between, any of the other schools that brought him in and Miami. His debate was between Miami and the NFL. And I mean, credit to him for coming back and really betting on himself after getting a grade that was rumored to be in like the mid third round. Also, credit to Miami for leveraging all the leverage that they had. Little Tua was on campus as per multiple reports. So, we're going back at him and going back at Cam and saying, bro, last chance. And he's like, what? That NIL money and the chance to, because I always said Miami as a program was at their best. We were at our best when the head coaching job in football was 4 years, 5 years in the NFL. Look at all the guys who left. Dennis Erickson went to the league. Jimmy Johnson is a Hall of Famer. Howard Schnellenberger hated it, but I understood he was trying to go build something else after having built here. Even a Butch Davis coming off the sanctions and things left the year before the championship. But when you have that 5 years, maybe 6 years in the NFL thing, and you're having all of these assistants whose names that like it's been a while since Miami's had that, right? But think of a Mark Stoops, think of Ed Orgeron, right? Think of all these guys who were, the Randy Shannons of the world, the Greg Schianos of the world. Think of Mark Chudzinski. No, was it Mark? Greg. Yeah, Chud, who was an incredible coordinator, and then he went to the NFL and was a coordinator and a head coach and everything. It's been a while since we've had that kind of talent across the coaching staff, and I think that we're getting back towards that. But when you have the players to make the plays, you can have things go in a positive direction. So it's really a huge win to get Cam Ward. Like I said, he's +2 on the outlook that you had or that I had on the roster from last year. So I was looking at 8-4 really being reasonable. I know it sounds like a broken record, but with everything, I'm looking at 10-2 or better. We have the ability, we have the players at every position. And I started a little bit on this mini tangent. I didn't even get to adding one of the starting left guard from the Washington Huskies team that played for a national championship, right? In addition to Zach Carpenter, who we already talked about, in addition, to the recruits, in addition to Markel Bell, in addition to retaining Jalen Rivers, as opposed to him going and being a 5th or 6th round draft pick, a guy who started at left guard and left tackle, he comes back, retaining a Jared Harrison Hunt instead of a guy who goes and be, as a 5th or 6th round draft pick, a defensive tackle, former basketball player from high school, Martin Luther Christ the King in New York, like a well-known prep basketball factory. He's really, leaning into things. Hell, retaining Akeem Mesidor, who, got injured in game 1 or 2 and barely played, 2nd team all conference, 1st team all Big 12 before he transferred down. This is a guy with a name who's made lots and lots of plays. After 4 years, you figure, yeah, okay, cool. Maybe I'm a 5 or a 6, but I'm going to work on it. I'm going to grind. But you're retaining those dudes. Now, it wasn't everybody because, maybe they hoped that Matt Lee was going to come back, but I always viewed him as a one and done. Javion Cohen was always going to be a one and done. Guy is in terms of transferring to Miami and then going to the league. But yeah, I mean, there's talent all over this roster. You get the most productive and highest ceiling quarterback that was highest ceiling for 2024. Again, you could argue that some of the young guys in the long timeline might have a higher ceiling, but none have a higher ceiling than Cam Ward for 2024. So yeah, in my mind, he's +2 on whatever you thought or were looking into this season at. And this is another huge recruiting win for Mario, because it was still, it was a wedding, the roster was a wedding ring without a diamond. It's great. It's a wonderful setting and has all this intricate stuff. Your girl or, whomever is going to enjoy this thing, but it's waiting for the centerpiece, the thing that's going to draw the attention and elevate that to a new level. You went and got Cam Ward. The level has been elevated, my friends.